Hi, this is Ferre with Tax Sale Secrets, and this is the weekly update. This is for the week of March 16th here. And so we're going to cover just a few of announcements, news. Also, we're going to cover Hotlist and go over the weekly tax sale tip, which this week we're going to talk about investing in land.
Yeah, exactly. This is Stephen Swenson here as well. And first, we just want to go over some quick news and announcements. On April 14th at 10 a.m., we have our Saturday morning online workshop. And so that's completely available to anyone. All you need to do is just go down to the description and click on it, and you can go ahead and register for that. In addition to that, we also have a new personal 3-day boot camp where people will come out with just them and a guest and spend 3 days with us here at our home offices. And we also have a coaching program we just want to make everyone aware of. And then, of course, if you haven't already downloaded our free ebook, Secrets of Tax Lien, you can go to secretsoftaxinvesting.com and go ahead and download that.
Yeah, excellent. And just a quick note on that personal 3-day boot camp. An excellent opportunity for those people out there that are more visual learners. There's some people that struggle more, I think, when they're dealing with online or other mediums, and tend to do much better when they can sit and talk to somebody in person. And this is a great opportunity for somebody to do that. So we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, exactly. There's some pretty good auctions coming up over the next week. On the 19th, there's going to be a couple of auctions in Florida, in Santa Rosa and in St. Lucie, and also Trenton, New Jersey. On the 20th, there's going to be one in Etchellew County, Florida, and then there's a couple of live sales taking place in Saratoga, New York, and in Jay County, Indiana. On the 21st, we've got a couple of California sales, Amador County, Orange County, and then also Broward County, Florida is going to be having an online sale, and then Patrick County, Virginia is going to be having an auction there at the county courthouse. On the 22nd, Brevard County, Florida, and Orange County, Florida are going to have upcoming auctions. Neptune County, New Jersey has an online sale using Real Auction, and then there's also going to be another auction happening there in Virginia. And then on the 23rd, there's going to be a couple more auctions happening in California. So California has quite a few auctions happening next week in Monterey and Glenn County, and a couple of more online auctions in New Jersey. And then on the 26th, we have another Kern County, California auction, and a couple more auctions in New Jersey. So there's a lot of good things coming up. All of these auction lists are available on our website, Tax Sale Support.
Now, for this week's tax sale tip, let's talk for a minute about land, raw land investments. For a lot of investors, they have a tendency to shy away from raw land investments, or seeing raw land investments as being less desirable in a way. But what we want to convince people of, at least what we tell our members here, is that it's really actually the better way to go in most circumstances.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, we actually just did a webinar this last week with our members. We went into this into more detail, but like Shade said, we just want to go over some of the basics of why we love investing in land, and especially if you're just getting started and you're looking to get started in tax deeds, why land investing is really the premier choice.
Yeah, in fact, there are a number of different reasons for it, which we'll cover here. The first is that it's the most overlooked type of land, that gets offered. It's the one that everybody tends to pass over while they're looking or trying to focus on, lots with improvements or other things like that. So it tends to be widely available, and also over the counter. You find it all the time with over the counter. I mean, raw land is what we're going to see the most when it comes to tax sale lists.
Yeah, exactly. And another advantage of buying land is you don't need to do an on-site evaluation. And this makes a big difference if you're investing out of state, if you're investing outside your own area, because you're not going to need to have somebody go out there and look at the structure and check out the condition of the structure, and also some of the risks that come with purchasing structures sight unseen, or without actually going in and able to do a full property evaluation on it as far as the condition. And so that's one thing that's awesome about investing in land, is that you can do it without needing somebody to go out and research the property in person.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference when we're talking about the amount of due diligence that is required. You're talking about at least doubling or tripling, the amount of time and work that is involved in each property beforehand. So you can limit that time down to a much more reasonable amount. In fact, you can really do the research on raw land, relatively quickly. It doesn't have to take the same type of duration, but at the same time, raw land's also cheaper. It's cheap. We love. I mean, I think a lot of our favorite lots, are ones we can pick up between $100 and $1,000. So it's not property that is priced out there beyond what people can get. It's stuff that is actually priced under what they think that they'll have to spend.
Yeah, exactly. And because of that, it means that there's going to be less risk involved. When it comes to looking at a structured property, there's a lot of unseen risk, which also means that we're going to be able, because there's less competition on these properties, like Shade said, it's really the cheapest way to be able to buy real estate. When we're looking at properties, we're looking at land anywhere between 5 to 20 cents on the dollar. And so it's a good opportunity to be able to buy property literally for pennies on the dollar. And then also when you turn around to sell it, it makes wholesaling the property a lot easier because you as an investor have paid so little for it. It gives you an option to even wholesale it for 40 or 50 cents on the dollar to another investor or to another property owner, but still make an incredible profit.
Yeah, in fact, we have consistently purchased land, nice lots, for about 5% of value. For 5 cents on the dollar. And if that isn't a reason, all by itself, then, really there are just so many things about it that are positive. That kind of a profit margin is unheard of with anything. And even with tax sales, it's not common to be able to do that. Or at least I guess we've been able to duplicate it, again and again. But it's incredible. It's an incredible discount to be able to buy. And if you can pick out the nice properties and pay that kind of a price for it, like Steve said, you've got so much room to move when it comes to the price because you paid so little for it that it limits your risk. And really, selling something is really all about price. And so, if you have the most flexibility on price, you never have to worry about not being able to sell it. The only thing that you have to determine is how much profit you want on it. Really, is what it comes down to. You're never at risk of losing money.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing that's also nice about land is most people, they say, well, I'd like to make residual income. I want to earn some type of monthly income coming in, and I can only do that through structured properties. Well, that's just a completely false belief. Land is very, very easy to seller finance, which many times you can get a down payment that could cover the cost of the actual property, and then every single month after that, you're essentially earning residual income.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy when you think about how the numbers work on that. The numbers are the most remarkable thing in terms of an investment. So let's say that you do your research, you find a nice property that you buy for $500. Okay, and let's say that it's worth $5,000. Okay, so that you don't get it for the 5%, you get it for about 10% of market value. But you paid $500, you have this property, and when you turn around to sell it, essentially what you can do is sell it to somebody with seller financing. Say, okay, well, I'll sell the property at a selling price of, let's say, $4,000, or to give a discount here on it. And, essentially you would work out some kind of down payment for the initial amount up front, and then the rest of it is broken down into monthly payments. So, for example, if with a property like this, you could sell the property for as little as $500 down. You wouldn't want less than that because that's what you've got into it. But you could also accept or collect as much as $1,000 down to begin with that. And so right off the bat, you've already doubled your money. And on top of that, you can finance it out the rest of it for, let's say, 3 years at $100 and something a month. You can create all of that revenue basically over that period of time. You're going to have monthly revenue coming in from that property, and you're never at risk of losing anything there because you don't transfer the property over until the property's all paid for.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I mean, really, all of these are reasons why we love land and why it's so important. And looking at it, we're going to talk about what type of land we like to target. We don't have the time to go through property that we don't like to target, that we avoid, but we want to go through and we want to give you guys some examples and show you the type of land that we target.
Yeah, residential lots are the most common thing that we target, and that basically means that we're looking for a building lot that's big enough to fit a home, that is zoned for residential use and includes access by public street. In other words, we don't want it to be landlocked. So it needs to be accessible, have the proper zoning basically, and be big enough for a lot, or for a house there, which you can oftentimes determine if you compare lot sizes to neighboring lots and the house sizes.
Yeah, that's one thing. Once you've got an established residential lot within a neighborhood, it's pretty easy to determine what the value of the property is, what properties have sold for within the area, and it gives you a pretty good idea of what you could turn around and sell the property for. And so, when it comes to residential lots, our biggest advantage is our buying power, and the fact that we're able to buy these for 10 cents on the dollar, essentially. And so, because of that, that means that we can turn around and sell that, and there's still a huge room of profit, even if we wholesale it to another buyer.
Yeah, building lots are nice because they're a fairly clearly defined type of real estate. They've got a specific use and value because they're related to people's ownership of their homes. And so that side of it is nice. It's very straightforward. It makes it easier to value out, and also I think to sell. Everybody knows that a building lot is going to have value there because there's that potential for use, and you can basically use the other sales of property as a guideline on what property is valued at and what it's worth.
Yeah, I think it's a good point.
So, maybe we could show some examples here of different types of property that either we've bought or that we've had mentoring students that bought.
Yeah, exactly. This is a property that one of our coaching students bought, and you can see that it's a real nice, improved residential lot. It's almost half an acre. Our coaching student was able to pick it up for $1,900, and it has an assessed value of about $24,000. Probably has a market value of over $30,000. And so essentially here you're looking at a property that he picked up for 7-8 cents on the dollar, and essentially picked it up for a couple of grand, but still has a huge amount of profit. I mean, even if he sells it for 10 grand, he's still able to make $8,000 off that sale.
And it's in an area where properties have been built in the last 10 years, and so that has that potential there for building and growth. It's an excellent buy. Really, it's a great find because there's a lot of profit tied up in it. That you could get.
This is actually a property that we purchased, me and Shade, and we paid $520 for this. Has an assessed value of $14,000. Has a market value of close to $20,000, and you can see there that it's a full residential lot, improved. It's got the street and the power and the water and everything there within the newer subdivision. And really, it's one of the last lots available that's unbuilt within the subdivision.
Yeah, that is one of the nice things about this is that there are only a few lots, left. And basically, what you see here, are the remaining lots that are left in the subdivision, and those are desirable characteristics, about it. That it's a buildable piece of property, that the construction has been happening. And also, that we know that we've got improvements right up to the property line, so that it's completely prepared for building.
Yeah. Here's another example of a improved residential lot. Essentially, this is purchased by one of our coaching students for $320. In fact, he was actually able to purchase both lots. You can see the lot next to it as well. He purchased both of them for $320 a piece. They're each worth about $7 grand, and so for about $600, he got about $14,000 in assessed value off this double lot. And having a double lot is always going to help increase the price in selling the property as well, because you can sell both lots together.
Yeah, which if you think about it, it's remarkable that for a price as little as $600, basically, that that he was able to buy $15,000 plus dollars worth of real estate. Putting his bid value ratio way down there low, it puts him in a strong position. And like you said, when you've got two lots that you can combine, so that you've got kind of a double lot there, it has additional use and value, I think, to the right buyer. So these are all awesome examples of great residential lots, great property that we love to go for, the type of stuff that we prefer.
Yeah, exactly. And these examples are fresh examples, so we're actually showing you examples that where these students have purchased them, or these investors.
Yeah, in the last 2 months.
Yeah, exactly.
They're still in the process of getting the deed in some cases. We also like commercial property as well, though, because it's oftentimes more valuable than than residential.
Yeah, any type of commercial or industrial land is something that we're always going to be targeting. Just like Shade said, it can be sold for a greater profit. Typically, there's less commercial land available, or typically for sale, which also increases the value. And even large tracts of commercial land and commercial lots can be found at the tax sale.
Yeah, in fact, because they're tied to businesses, and businesses may go out of business or go bankrupt, and it's not the same as an individual. It is true. You do tend to see a lot of commercial stuff at the auctions.
Yeah, and because commercial land is usually going to be bought by businesses, you can usually sell it for a higher price because of that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, this is a commercial piece that that one of our mentoring students just bought, and it is a great little lot. Basically, what we're looking at, the lot is next to a Wendy's, to a Wendy's hamburger joint, and it's the parking lot that you can see here, pretty much from the sign that's here. Over to the where the Wendy's parking lot starts, and then back to where it ends there at the trees.
Yeah, exactly. And so this here is a prime lot right next to a Wendy's that was purchased over the counter, $1,800. Has an assessed value of $22,000. Probably has a market value closer to $40,000.
Yeah.
And so when you're looking at this type of property, still picked it up for 5-10 cents on the dollar, and because we picked it up, or the student picked it up for so cheap, it gives them so much flexibility when it comes to pricing. It's nearly impossible to lose money in this type of a deal, because worst case scenario, who's not going to pay $5 or $10 grand for that, if not quite a bit more?
Yeah, it does put you in a really strong position, and a unique position that most real estate investors never find themselves in, because you just don't find those types of deals on property. This is a great piece of commercial property that. Is this the one that we bought?
Yeah, this was one in Arkansas for $754. Essentially has an assessed value of $24,000. And this is a larger commercial building lot. So we're going to talk about large plots of land and raw land here in a minute. This is 1.4 acres. And so, of course, looking at those numbers, you can tell that the bid to value ratio, how much you're paying for the property versus the assessed value, is pretty high.
Yeah. At times, large plots of land can be nice, because basically there's more potential use with large plots of land, and so we're talking about properties that are priced the higher end, would you say, between $50,000, $100,000 plus?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can find some in many different price ranges, but they tend to be more expensive or have a higher value. And also, anytime you can offer lots of acreage, it puts you in a good position.
Yeah. Here's an example of some land that we purchased. A little bit larger plot of land, 2.4 acres of raw land. We picked up for $400. That is valued at assessed value is about $9,600, and market's a little bit higher than that. It's anytime we can find larger pieces of land, generally, the larger it is, generally, the more valuable it is.
Yeah, exactly. This is another piece of raw land we bought, 1.4 acres, spent about the same, $420 for it, valued at over $10,000.
And you can also use big plots of land for things like hunting or fishing. Lots of land gets leased out for farming. That's a regular thing. So if you can get farming land, or you could also do mobile homes, vacation land, timeshare, really anything.
Yeah, we went through kind of residential lots, commercial land, large plats of land, and then essentially there's other different types of property, like Shade said, mobile home lots, commercial vacation property that can be picked up as well.
Yeah, and really, it's a good investment. It's a great way to get started. It's where you're going to reduce your risk. It's at that price level that everybody can do. I mean, really, land makes so much more sense for most investors approaching tax sales than property with improvements do.
Yeah, you're not going to have to worry about the rehabs and the potential problems that come with structures. That's something that as you get more experienced purchasing and flipping property and investing in tax sales, then that's something you can include as part of your portfolio. But up until then, until you've got a chance to do some deals, it's always going to be safer to buy a piece of land.
Yeah, in fact, what's nice about it is that you don't have to worry about all this stuff. You can focus on strictly the buying and selling aspect of it. You don't actually have to do anything with the property when you buy raw land. You can just focus on making money. You basically focus on selling the properties, which is where you're going to make your money on it.
Yeah,
So.
exactly. Well, if you guys have any questions, feel free to go to our website, taxsalesupport.com. We have our membership program. It's only $29 a month. You can cancel it at any time, and it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. And so it really is the best resource as far as value for tax sale training.
It's a no-brainer. If you're interested in tax sales, I think our membership is certainly a no-brainer compared to anything else that's out there. And we've got also much higher levels of training that aren't going to break the bank. I think that's a big part of why we do this and what we believe is we want to be able to do this in a way that that's affordable to people and that can actually help it. We want to help you make money. So, that's one aspect that I think we can offer that nobody else can. So,
well, when it comes to our coaching packages, they're priced about 20% of what any other coaching program. Most coaching programs are going to be $10,000 plus, and so the fact that we're able to offer coaching for a couple $1,000s and have people fly out and spend 3 days with us for about the same, it just makes it nice for the investors. Because we're such a small company and it's just me and Shade, and we're able to do these type of things where we don't have the expense paying sales guys and things like that so many times and problems that we've had with the seminar industry in the past.
Yeah, it's true. I think what we just like to focus on what's effective and what works, and that's been another nice thing with the mentoring is that it's been really successful. It's worked really well, and we're able to constantly improve it and just make it better. We've been able to simplify so many aspects of the investment process so that it doesn't take as much time and that it's much easier for people to figure out and for it to click and make sense. We're thrilled with how it's going, and would just invite anybody that's out there that's interested in doing the same thing, wants to do tax liens or tax deed investing, to get in contact with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like these weekly updates, go ahead and let us know by just clicking the like button and letting us know. So we definitely appreciate you guys watching this. I think that these are starting to become beneficial because we're doing different topics on a weekly basis. So again, thank you for watching the video, and we'll go ahead and put out one again next week.
We'll see you on the next one.